The emergency ward buzzed with urgency as nurses and doctors moved swiftly from one patient to the next. Nurse Lila Reyes worked tirelessly, her hands steady as she checked vitals and reassured worried families. Despite the exhaustion, she found solace in knowing she was making a difference. However, the tense atmosphere of the hospital was about to be disrupted by a different kind of urgency, one fueled by prejudice rather than medical necessity. Officer Derek Collins stood near the nurse's station, his presence a looming reminder of authority. Assigned to the hospital for security purposes, he had a reputation for being unyielding and unnecessarily harsh. His eyes locked onto Lila as she rushed past him, and he called out to her with a sharp edge in his voice. "Hey, you, slow down. Running through the halls like that makes you look sloppy." Lila stopped, startled by his tone. She turned, maintaining her professional composure. "Officer Collins, this is an emergency ward. We move quickly to save lives." Collins smirked. "Is that right? Or do you just like playing the hero? I've been watching you, always acting like you're the best one here. Maybe you should focus on doing your job right instead of trying to impress people." A silence fell between them as nearby staff members exchanged uneasy glances. Lila took a deep breath. She had faced discrimination before, but never this openly. "I take pride in my work. If you have concerns about my professionalism, take them up with administration." Collins stepped closer, lowering his voice, but keeping the intimidation intact. "People like you always think they have something to prove. You come here, act like you run the place, but at the end of the day, you're just another nurse." Unbeknownst to Collins, Mr. Anthony Morales had been observing from his hospital bed near the hallway. A long-term patient who had developed a deep respect for Nurse Reyes, he clenched his fists in anger. Lila had saved his life, treating him with kindness when he was at his weakest. Seeing her bullied in such a demeaning way was unacceptable. Later that evening, as the tension from the confrontation lingered, Mr. Morales made a decision. He called for a meeting with hospital administrators, including Dr. Vivian Chan and law enforcement representatives. His voice, though frail from his condition, carried weight. "I need to say something," Mr. Morales began, clearing his throat. "I've been in this hospital longer than most of you. I've seen good care and bad care. But there is no one, who has cared for me with more compassion and professionalism than Nurse Reyes. She didn't just treat me like a patient. She treated me like a person." Dr. Chan nodded, encouraging him to continue. "Go on, Mr. Morales." "I was in critical condition a few months ago," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "And Nurse Reyes was the one who caught a mistake in my medication that could have cost me my life. She advocated for me when I was too weak to advocate for myself. And today, I watched as an officer meant to protect us humiliated her for no reason." The room fell silent. Officer Collins shifted uncomfortably, his previous confidence faltering. "This hospital is about healing," Mr. Morales continued. "But how can it be a place of healing if we allow people like him to poison it with their biases?" The testimony sent ripples through the hospital. Within days, an internal investigation was launched into Officer Collins's behavior. Under mounting pressure, he was suspended pending further review. Meanwhile, support for Nurse Reyes poured in from colleagues, patients, and even strangers who had heard about the incident. Dr. Chan and community organizer Tanya Lopez took this opportunity to push for systemic change, advocating for improved training on cultural sensitivity and workplace respect. The hospital administration implemented new policies aimed at preventing harassment and fostering a more inclusive environment. As for Lila, the incident had shaken her, but it had also strengthened her resolve. She continued her work with renewed purpose, knowing that her dedication had not gone unnoticed. The hospital, once just a place of medical care, became a beacon of resilience and justice, a place where dignity was restored and respect upheld.